The world is plagued with a great division within countries, political groups, families, and even individuals. We're all in a state of total distraction.
Welcome, everybody, to the Neurological Deep Dive podcast. Today's episode, we are going to talk about focus and concentration. Not the game, like keeping your attention. Keeping your mind focused on one thing at a time. For me personally, a very hard task to accomplish. On that note, let's get into it.
The modern world's level of conflict is higher than ever, and we have internalized it in our own lives. The solution is a form of retreat inside ourselves, to the past, to more concentrated forms of thought and action. Well, what do I mean by that? In the long scheme of things, you have two individuals grow up in the same household. One ends up in jail the whole and never sees outside of the jail cell for the rest of his life. The other one gets to watch his kids grow up, grow old, free, and happy. There was a division of mindset in the two individuals. One went one direction, the other went the other direction. So you have to concentrate, is what I really believe. Concentrate on a single goal, a single task, and beat it into submission. In the world of power, you'll constantly need help from others, usually those that are more powerful than you. Only a fool runs from another person and believes that he'll survive by spreading himself out. It's contrary to the law of concentration, however. That much energy is saved by fixating yourself on one appropriate source of power. Okay, let me say it like this. You cannot hit two targets with one arrow. If your thoughts stray, you miss your enemy's heart, mind, and the arrow must be one. Only with such concentration of mental and physical power can an arrow hit the target and pierce the heart. Make sense? Now that's what we're talking about. Concentrate on one task at a time. Beat it in submission. Get ready for your next battle. There are dangers in concentration, and the moments when desperation is the proper tactical move.
Fighting against nationalists for control of China, Mao Zedong, who was in office March 20th, 1943 to September 9th, 1976. Upon his death in 1976, his ideologies and his theories, military strategies, and political policies are collectively known as Maoism. What is Maoism? I don't want to get too deep into it, but I'll give a brief overview. Maoism was a theory created because of Mao's beliefs and ideologies. They were very similar to Karl Marx. Mao does not support industrialization, however, but Karl Marx does. Mao actually believes that industrialization gives owners the ability to exploit their workers even more. Basically, Maoism is just a communist plan about how countries should work, created by a Chinese man named Mao Zedong. He believed that peasants, not factory workers, should lead the communist revolution in order to change the government. People still practice Maoism today, a heavily altered version of his original ideologies, but really that's all communism is today anyway. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, while he and the communists fought to protect the war on several fronts using sabotage and ambush as their main source of weaponry, dispersal is often suitable for the weaker side. When fighting a stronger enemy, concentrating on your forces only makes you an easy target. Better to dissolve into the scenery and frustrate your enemy with the elusiveness of your presence. A perfect courtier thrives in a world where everything revolves around power and political dexterity. He has mastered the art of indirection, and he flatters and yields to supporters and asserts power over others in the most oblique and graceful manner. Learn to apply the power of courtiership, and there will be no limit to how far you can rise. So, we're talking about concentration, focusing.
Word.
How
does one attack staying focused? How does one go about keeping their concentration?
Yeah, how do you keep your concentration? How do you attack staying focused?
Well, throughout my life, I am terrible at keeping concentrated and focused. But whenever it comes to my work, I kind of have to. You shouldn't be yeah, you should be concentrated and focused on what's at hand. You gotta look at the bigger picture. Take a step back and say you're up close looking at a picture, and you're looking at one little spot, and you're focused on that one little spot. That's great. You see that little spot, good as hell. But you don't see the full picture until you're saying.
You might not see a problem that you didn't notice before because you're looking at the entire situation.
You got, because when you ever take a step back, You mean say you can see the picture for its entirety.
Right.
So that's like maybe
knowing when to retreat is a good strategy of guerrilla warfare.
No doubt. So like, yeah, it's good to like focus on that one little spot, make sure that spot's good, but don't be afraid to like step back and like, hold on, like let's see what you mean. Right. But at the same time, make sure you like you don't spread yourself out and you don't like lose focus on what's really going on. Because some people like they'll be trying to look at 5 different pictures at one time, trying to focus on all of them is going to be impossible. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I do that a lot. I overload myself, especially at work. I'll be doing like 10 different things at once. I'm like, well, too much. Because I forget something and then something else will go wrong. I'm like, I need to do one thing at a time.
Exactly. That's why they even at my work is like never rush around. What is it? Billy, he got his 3 million miles. So like he went 3 million miles without having an accident or situation. And what he said to me, he said, does a duck get wet? And I thought about that. I was like, nah, it doesn't. He's like, nah, it lets that water roll off his fucking shoulders. As you should do in life. You don't fucking let anything frustrate you. You just, you know what I'm saying? You just let that shit roll off your shoulders. But never rush. Never rush through anything. Just, you know what I mean? Make sure it's all done and just make sure you're good. If you're like out doing physical labor, you push yourself too hard, you try rushing around, you're gonna kill yourself, like fucking stamina wise. You're gonna kill yourself fucking because you're not gonna have any energy and shit. This is not worth it. So no doubt, like make sure, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. But that's how I feel about that shit.
I do that a lot where I rush into things. I'm like, as he calls me, a spaz. I like to do things really quickly. Just sometimes.
That's not bad though.
I just want to get it done, and then I do too fast. I'm like, well, fuck, I fucked it up.
And then you gotta come back, and you see how like.
And you gotta look at the
it takes even more time than it would have beginning if you would just took your time and did it like.
Yeah, you repeat your workload.
Exactly.
And do double the work.
In construction, they say measure twice, cut once. Yeah, usually if you're rushing around or spazzing, if you will. Rushing around doing 1,000 things, you usually don't get nothing accomplished.
You just get a bunch of shit done like halfway.
Yeah.
And then you guys still gotta go back in and, you know what I mean, continue to do that whenever it could have been, you know what I mean, done however long ago. It's like, that's why I always like to, you know what I'm saying? Focus on the picture, take a step back, but don't focus on 5 pictures at once, just focus on that one picture. And then whenever, you know what I mean, whenever time is due and it's ready. I mean, life, if you just let life happen, it kind of like, for the most part, like, as long as you put the, effort in or whatever and do what you gotta do, it 9 times out of 10, it works out. Like, I found myself in a lot of, like, just fucking shitty situations. You know what I mean? And yeah, like, my stupidity gets me in some shits, and it's cool. But, like, you just let life happen, I mean, it'll let you know, like, what's good for you, you know what I'm saying? But if you go through life spazzing out, trying to do this, and you don't take time to step back, then like you can't really let life happen because you're trying to push in so many inputs at once.
Trying to control it too much.
Yeah, I mean you're trying to control life too much, and then it'll never work, and you're just gonna stress yourself out. But no, that's good shit though. You see a lot of kids out here now with like focus and concentration. They just don't have any of it, and you see like the kids that don't have concentration, they don't have focus either. It's like.
I have a really hard time concentrating on like certain things, especially for a long period of time.
Long-term concentrational goals.
No, that's why I think I hated school so much.
Do you read books?
Yeah.
That takes long-term concentrational goals. Because you gotta sit there and concentrate on the words and read it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have to reread sections. Mine goes off in like 10 million different directions at once.
It's because of an overactive brain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's whenever you gotta whenever you put all that energy into one thing, that's whenever shit becomes really great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you gotta learn how to aim that shit and then fire that shit.
It's all about balance.
Yeah, it's but you having that overactive brain though, think about if you focus all that shit just on one thing and you train and you disciplined yourself into focusing on that one thing.
If I put all my energy into this one
boy, oh boy,
thing,
you'll fucking master it and then it'll be done. Then you can go to the next thing. And then that can be done. So as you get old, because think about it, you got a lot of time left in your life. Mm-hmm. There's no reason why you should be trying to do 5 things at once.
Right.
You master each one of these things and then go to the next one. Then instead of being having I known a lot of things, but only knowing half of a lot of things, you'll master all this shit. And by the time you're 30, 40, you'll have all this shit down packed, and then that's when shit starts elevating. You're like, wow, I already know about this, and it leads me to this, you know what I'm saying?
Great countries throughout history has mastered the science of manipulating people. They are magicians of appearances, knowing that most things at the court are judged by how they seem. To get a seat at that round table, we must be focused on our goals, concentrate on our objectives, and our outcome will be exactly what is destined. I say all that to say this: train your brain with video games, sleep, exercise, go on a nature walk, meditate, take a break, listen to music, diet, caffeine, supplements, concentration workouts, conditions, and other treatments that can help you stay focused, concentrate on the objectives at hand. More things like Sudoku, word searches, puzzles of that sort, anything that's going to keep you thinking, keep your brain active. I said it before, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's the same as your body. If you ever found it difficult to get through a challenging task at work, or spend time on a finicky project, or study for an exam, you might wish that you could increase your ability to concentrate. Concentration refers to the mental effort you direct towards whatever you're working on or learning at the moment. It is sometimes confused with attention span, but attention span refers to the length of time that you can concentrate on something. Both attention span and concentration can vary for a number of reasons. Some people have a harder time tuning out distractions. Age and a lack of sleep can affect concentration. Most people forget things readily as they age, and decreased concentration can accompany memory loss. Head or brain injuries such as concussion, as well as certain mental health conditions, can also affect concentration. It is easy to become frustrated when you're trying to concentrate but just can't. This can lead to stress and irritation, which tends to make focusing on what you need to do even more arduous and more like a distant dream. If this sounds familiar, then you're at the right place. Keep listening and learn more about research-backed methods that will help improve your concentration. As I said before, train your brain. Sudoku, word puzzles, crossword puzzles, chess, jigsaw puzzles, word searchers or word scrambles, memory games of all sorts will all help. Results of a 2015 study of 4,715 adults suggested spending 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week on brain training activities can be a big impact on concentration. Brain training games can also help you develop your working and short-term memory, as well as processing and problem-solving skills. These strategies work also for children too. Invest in a book of word puzzles, complete a jigsaw puzzle together, or play games of memory. Even coloring can improve concentration in children or adults. Older children may enjoy more detailed coloring pages like those found in adult coloring books. The effects of brain training games may be particularly important for older adults, since memory and concentration awfully tend to decline with age. Researchers from 2014 took a look at 2,832 older adults, followed up on participants after 10 years. Older adults whom completed 10 years and 14 sessions of cognitive trainings saw improvement on cognition, memory, and processing skills. After 10 years, the majority of study participants reported that they could complete daily activities at least as well as they could at the beginning of the trial, if not better. Brain games may not be the only type of games that can help improve concentration. Newer research suggests playing video games could help boost concentration. How about that? I bet moms are loving to hear that one, huh? Okay, here's a good one right here. A 2018 study looked at 29 people, found evidence to suggest an hour of game playing helped improve visual selective attention. VSA refers to the ability to concentrate on specific tasks while ignoring distractions around you. In my day, they would call that selective listening or selective hearing. A 2017 review looked at 100 studies examining the effects of video games could have no cognitive functions. The results of the review suggested playing video games may lead to various changes in the brain, including increased attention and focus. That's great. Check this one out. For sleep. Sleep deprivation can easily disrupt concentration, not to mention other cognitive functions such as memory and attention. Occasional sleep deprivation may not cause too many problems for you, but regular failing to get good night's sleeps can affect your mood and performance at work. Being too tired can slow down your reflexes and affect your ability to drive or do other daily tasks. A demanding schedule, health issues, and other factors sometimes make it difficult to get enough sleep, but it is important to try to get as close to the recommended amount as possible on most nights. Many experts recommend adults aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Increased concentration is among the many benefits of regular exercises. A study looking at 116 fifth graders found evidence to suggest daily physical activity could help improve both concentration and attention after just 4 weeks. Other research looking at older adults suggests that a year of moderate aerobic physical activity can help stop or even reverse memory loss that occurs with the brain atrophy related to age. And I know exercise isn't for everybody. Although aerobic exercise is recommended, doing what you can is better than doing nothing at all. Depending on your personal fitness and weight goals, you may want to exercise more or less. If you struggle with finding times to exercise, turn on some music and dance. Dancing is a good way to actually exercise without actually thinking you're exercising. Once you get your heart rate up, your blood pressure is moving. That's exercise. Amen to that. The best way and the most natural way to get concentration to grow or strengthen or boost your concentration naturally, try going outside every day. Even for just 15 minutes to 20 minutes, you might take a short walk through the park, sitting in your garden or in your backyard. It can also help in any natural environment. Going to the aviary or the zoo, taking a walk around all those places is the same as doing exercise, but it's natural. It all works on enhancing your concentration.
This has been Neurological Deep Dive. Thank you for listening.